Did the referee's call decide the outcome of the Buffalo Bills Kansas City Chiefs game yesterday? That is the question that many sports channels are asking. The controversial call of offensive offsides resulted in the Chiefs not scoring a touchdown that would have put them ahead of the Buffalo Bills with limited time on the clock. The play was a throw from quarterback Patrick Mahomes that was caught by tight end Travis Kelce and then lateraled to wide receiver Kadarius Toney. Do you think that the referees helped decide the outcome of the Bills and Chiefs game? We will dive into this and more today on Overreaction Monday, presented by GoBillsPodcast.com. Offensive offsides was the call yesterday. It was one that probably the Kansas City Chiefs fans would want to have back, but Buffalo Bills fans are okay with the call. Hello, everyone. I am Brett McDurphy from the Go Bills podcast. As you can see on the screen, this is the call that you are seeing. This is the line. Can't really see it, but you can clearly tell where the ball is being snapped from Creed Humphrey, and Kadarius Toney is offsides. That is the call that was made. Now, Kansas City Chiefs fans and quarterback Patrick Mahomes and head coach Andy Reid are upset about the call, but the question is, do you think that the referees decided the outcome of the Bills and Chiefs game? That's the question that everybody is asking. Sports channels are going over it left and right, and this is probably one of the most controversial calls of the season that you can remember. But let's get into this, and we'll dive into it a little bit more. But I'm going to start with some of the videos that you will see. These are the reactions from quarterback Patrick Mahomes that you will see.
Loudest fucking call I've ever seen, man. Offensive offsides in that moment, man. Fucking terrible.
As you can see, Mahomes is upset on the sidelines. And also he was upset going over to talk to quarterback Josh Allen. Let's get into another video real quick. As you can see, you can't hear it because there's no audio that's on there, because if you go over a certain amount of time on YouTube, you can get in trouble for copyright infringements. But as you can see there in this video, you can see that Patrick Mahomes is clearly upset. Some verbal language that was used there that we could not air on the channel. We did not want to air the sounds that he was making, but you can clearly tell that he is upset. We'll go with one more real quick. This is the sidelines video that you can see where Patrick Mahomes was clearly upset trying to go towards the ref. And you can see that you can see clearly that he's being restrained and he is obviously upset. But let's go back to the controversial call. I want to put up the image again. And I just want to ask the channel, for the people that are watching, do you think that this should have been called? Because clearly Toney is offsides on the call. You can see that he's obviously over the line, but you can also understand where Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid are coming from with their quotes that they said. Patrick Mahomes is clearly upset because they did not get a warning for the play. But if you go to NFL Network and also if you go to other channels, you can see, and Dan Orlovsky did a whole entire piece on it where Kadarius Toney was over the line on 5 other snaps before this call. He did a segment on NFL Live earlier today talking about it, and that segment shows 5 times, and we will get into it when the all 22 comes out, but we'll talk about it a little bit more. But there's 5 times that Creed Humphrey and Kadarius Toney, the ball was where Kadarius Toney was behind it, so that's clearly offsides. Now, the NFL has sent out a memo to teams, and this is the most calls in the NFL history for offensive offsides this season. The NFL sent out a memo to teams telling them that they are going to start calling offensive offsides, and that was one thing that teams were noted about. Now, do you think that the NFL should have given the Chiefs a warning, and do you think that the referees should have given them a warning? That's something that's debatable. I don't think they should have. Now, if the NFL is going to make an emphasis on calling these plays and saying that there's an offensive offsides, then we're going to call it. And I think that they got it right. Obviously, the call is right. And the NFL has already taken an initiative and said that the call was right. But should they have gotten a warning? That's a question that a lot of people are wondering. I don't believe they should have. If the NFL is making an emphasis and they send out a warning message in an email to NFL teams and all 32 teams, executives, head coaches, everybody is attached on that. And they should have read the message, and you will clearly see that it was an emphasis that they're going to call that this year. And 11 other times they've called it this season. So clearly they're making an emphasis on it. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid are upset by the call. And that's one thing, they can be upset based off of it. They're on the wrong side of things. Now, more than likely, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are upset because they have lost 2 games in a row, and that has not happened in the Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid era very often. Do you blame them for being upset? That's a question that you can debate. But let's get into this game a little bit, and let's talk about the outcome that happened for the Buffalo Bills. But let's get into the game a little bit more. I want to bring up the overall game. We'll go over the scoring summary so far in the game. And this was a wonderful game from the Buffalo Bills, and a bounce back game for the team. And let's go, like I said, we'll go into the scoring summary. I'm just pulling it up real quick. So the scoring summary, the Bills scored a touchdown with 3 minutes and 43 seconds left on the clock. It was a 25-yard touchdown pass from Josh Allen to James Cook. It was the same route that we saw that put the Bills up 7-0 with the Tyler Bass extra point. Following that, the Bills scored a 6-yard touchdown run from Josh Allen with a Tyler Bass extra point, putting the Bills up 14-0 with 11 minutes and 50 seconds left on the clock. With a minute 19 seconds left on the clock, Jerick McKinnon scored a 7-yard touchdown run with Harrison Butker kicking the extra point, making it 14-7 going into the half. The Bills kicked a field goal, a 31-yard field goal from Tyler Bass to put the Bills up 17-7 with 8 minutes and 38 seconds left on the clock. Now, here's where the momentum started to shift towards the Kansas City Chiefs with 3 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock in the third quarter. Rashee Rice scored a 4-yard touchdown pass from Patrick Mahomes with Harrison Butker kicking the extra point, making it 17-14 Buffalo. Then here's where the fun happened. And in the fourth quarter, with 11 minutes, 31 seconds left on the clock, a 27-yard field goal from Harrison Butker with 11 minutes, 31 seconds on the clock, made the game tied at 17. With a minute and 54 seconds left on the clock, Tyler Bass kicked a 39-yard field goal to put the Bills up 20-17. That's when the biggest play of the game happened, and this is where the Kansas City Chiefs were driving down the field, and Patrick Mahomes lateral threw the ball to tight end Travis Kelce, who then lateraled the ball to Kadarius Toney, resulting in what would have been the touchdown that would have put the Kansas City Chiefs ahead of the Buffalo Bills. Now, there is very little time left on the clock in that situation, but the NFL referees decided, and it was before the play even went down, they saw that Kadarius Toney was offsides. That's when they called the play, and they threw a flag on it. Now, many people are saying that they shouldn't have called a flag. They did it too late and everything. But if you look back to the play, it was clearly called as soon as the ball was snapped, they called the play. Now, like I said, many people are wondering, should they have gotten a warning or whatsoever? Now, listen, have we gotten warnings when we were playing in Pee Wee and Pop Warner and other leagues? Yeah, we've gotten warnings. But do you think that in the NFL, when you know right from wrong, that players should get a warning based off of this? I don't believe so. You're in the NFL. You're being paid millions and millions of dollars. You should not get a warning for what is being called out there. But let's get into some more stats from the game for the Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs. The Bills were outscored in total yards in the game, 346 to 327. Total passing yards, the Bills had 209, Chiefs 264. The Bills had 118 rushing yards to Kansas City's 82. Total yards per play, Kansas City had 5.6 yards per play. The Bills at 4.5 yards per play. Let's get into the team leaders in total passing yards. Josh Allen was 23 of 42, 233 yards, 1 touchdown and an interception, to go along with another touchdown that he had in the running game as well. He was 10 of 32 with the 1 touchdown that was a brotherly shove that where the entire offensive line was able to put him into the end zone on that 6-yard touchdown run by him. The leading rusher for the game was James Cook, who looks spectacular out there on the field. 10 carries for 58 yards, 5.8 yards per carry, to go along with 5 receptions for 83 yards and a touchdown. Leading the way at receiver was James Cook. It was great to see Dawson Knox back on the field as well. 3 catches for 36 yards, and he was a big focal point in the blocking game for the Buffalo Bills as well. Let's get into our top performers presented by GoBillsPodcast.com. And we had 3 top performers for the Buffalo Bills, starting with Josh Allen, who was the number 1 performer with 233 yards in passing to go along with his rushing yards, making it 265 yards, all-purpose yards that he had in the game to go along with the 2 touchdowns that he had. James Cook also was a candidate for top performer in the game. He had 141 yards and a touchdown in the game. Taron Johnson had 9 tackles. He is the 3rd candidate for the top performer of the game, and you can vote for the top performer on our Instagram page. If you click on over to Go Bills Podcast on Instagram, you can vote for our top performer on our page. But Taron Johnson is another candidate with 9 tackles to go along with the fumble recovery that he had in the game that helped the Bills get the ball back. Who do you think was the top performer for the Buffalo Bills? Let us know in the comments section below, but also go on over to our website and go on over to our Instagram page and vote for our top performer for the game. This has been the Go Bills Podcast. We will see you next time for another edition of the Go Bills Podcast. We will be live on Wednesday, where our weekly picks on the Red, White, and Bills channel. That'll be live at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Also, let me just click on these comments real quick. We had a couple comments come in on YouTube. They just came in a couple seconds ago, but I want to get these comments out real quick. Red, White, and Bills saying 69 subs. Nice. He said you're going to be at 100 soon as well. Don't forget to click on our YouTube channel. You can like and subscribe to us on all our social media platforms. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Threads, and on our website, gobillspodcast.com. But click on the notification bell on our YouTube channel where you can find all of our shows and you can be notified when we are going live during the day. This has been the Go Bills Podcast. We will see you next time for another edition of the Go Bills Podcast. Until then, Go Bills.